welcome to the Peerless YouTube. I am Caitie North, and today I was going to show you how to do a tutorial on watercolor pouring, but I have decided that doing a what not to do would be just as valuable. I was super excited about this. Watercolor pouring is the technique of getting your whole entire watercolor paper wet and then adding the watercolor, usually primary colors, to let them mix and blend on the page and get a really soft, gorgeous, natural blend without any brush strokes. And the way that you build shadows is you do layers of masking fluid and then you do another glaze or wash of watercolor to build up the next layer. I was super nervous. I think in all I get the gist of the technique, but I am super bummed because there are a few things that I did wrong and it would have turned out so cool. It's not that I don't like it. I feel like this is actually really cool and it looks like a vintage print and I'm not mad about it. I really like it, but it was not what I was going for. So I am doing this painting over again and I will tell you the tricks and things that I learned to make it better. But what I would like to share with you today is what not to do. Okay. Number one thing not to do, let your paper dry. And if you think that it is dry, just let it dry a little bit longer, because I was pretty sure my paint was dry before I put the first layer of the masking fluid and it might have just been barely wet. So what happens is the bond is wet and the paper's wet, and so it kind of fuses together. So as you can see, all of the lighter areas are the places that peeled, and then these darker areas where I did the masking fluid, even though I did it like a couple washes later, that paper was dry, so it didn't bond to it like the other one did. So that was my number one mistake. Number two mistake is using not the best quality paper. I have so many watercolor papers, and usually I am very gentle with my watercolors. And I let each layer dry. I don't rub the paper, so I can get away with using a less expensive watercolor paper and not compromising it, because I've worked with it for long enough. I know kind of like how to, let the paper chill, we'll call it, before you mess with it again. And the integrity and the fibers, they all stay nice. This, on the other hand, is so much water, and the masking fluid itself is kind of intense also on there too, and you're rubbing it to get it off. So you're gonna wanna use a nicer watercolor paper. This time, the time I'm redoing it, it's still in the process. I'm using Archie's. I'm using Archie's cold press, 140 pound. And lastly, the thing that I did wrong is that you guys know me now. I am usually doing like 2 or 3 paintings at once because I am the most impatient painter, and watercolors are like my preferred medium because they take no time at all to dry. The paper is soaking wet every single layer, like every layer. So I didn't let it dry on its own, and I thought maybe I would use my blow dryer. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know if it happens with every masking fluid, but what happens with some masking fluids is that it heats up and it creates another bond and another thing for the paper to stick to the watercolor, like to the, masking fluid. So, might be another reason why that happens. So, like any new process and learning a new technique, it was really fun. I really liked the outcome. Not what I was going for. I reached out to a watercolor artist, and a huge shout out to Buffy for answering all of my frantic questions when my paper was going to shreds. She is a watercolor artist. Her Instagram handle is Watercolor Pouring, and I'll link it also. Huge help. Thank you so much. I love when artists help other artists. Makes my heart very happy. So thank you. So I hope you enjoy this super fast tutorial of me massively failing. And if you have any tips and interest in watercolor pouring, or if you, yeah, like any tips that you've like for me or questions, let's figure it out together. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video.